Hi guys, welcome to Populations in Ecosystem. So in terms of the specification, you actually need to know only those bits here. So you need to be aware of the key terminology which we will be looking at. So populations of different species form a community and the non-living components of its environment together form an ecosystem. And an ecosystem can range in size from the very small to very large. And within a habitat, a species occupies a niche governed by adaptation to both abiotic and biotic factors. And an ecosystem supports a certain size of population of species called the carrying capacity. And the population size can vary as the result of both abiotic and biotic factors. So today we will be looking at the definitions. Okay, so you need to know the relationship between the ecology, population, ecosystem, community, habitat, and species. So let's get started. So ecology is a study of the interrelationships between organisms and the environment, and environment includes both biotic and abiotic factors. Ecosystems are dynamic systems. They are made up of community and all non-living factors of its environment. They can range in size, and the processes, important processes within the ecosystem, it's a flow of energy through the system and cycling of elements within the system. Population then is a group of individuals of the same species that occupy the same habitat at the same time, and they are able to interbreed and produce fertile offspring. The carrying capacity then is the size of a population of a species supported by an ecosystem. So there will be the variation in size, of course, to the carrying capacity, to the size, due to effects of abiotic factors and interactions between organisms. So could be competition, predation. And community, there are populations of all of the different species. Right? Community, all of the populations of different species are living and interacting in the specific place at the same time. So the examples could be woodland, having orchids, woodlice, earthworms, and all sorts of organisms. Habitat is the place where an organism normally will live and is characterized by physical conditions and the other types of organisms present. And microhabitats, there are smaller units within habitat which they own a microclimate, with their own microclimate. So could be mud at the bottom of the stream, a microhabitat for a bloodworm, for example. Ecological niche describes how an organism fits into the environment. So it refers to where organism lives and what it does and where, and includes all biotic and abiotic conditions to which an organism is adapted in order to survive, reproduce, and maintain a variable population. And we need to remember one principle, competitive exclusion principle, that only one niche can be occupied by one species, okay? So in other words, not two species occupy exactly the same niche. Okay, and how can we then combine all this terminology together? Okay, populations of different species form a community and the non-living components of its environment together form an ecosystem. Ecosystems can range in size. Within habitat, a species occupy a niche. An ecosystem supports a certain size of population called a carrying capacity. This population size can vary as the result of effect of abiotic factors and interactions between the organisms. Right, so this is from your AQA book. You can now pause the video and see if you can apply the key terminology and missing words. Okay, so 1 should be ecology, 2 biotic, 3 abiotic, 4 community, 5 population, 6 habitat, 7 the carrying capacity. So make sure you are aware of all those keywords that are really important. Right, so we're going to look at one of the questions. to summarize today's topic, so what can you conclude from the data on the effects of human activities on biodiversity? How do you need to understand this specific graph? Oh, I'm not able to draw on this, I don't think. No, right. Show task. No, sorry. But never mind that. So here we've got the mean effect size, okay? So this is the mean effect size, means 0, okay? Nothing happens. The further away from the mean, from that 0, that means that there is the effect on the size of the population due to those specific factors. So the highest effect, okay, we're looking at something that's not going to go through the mean and will be far away from it. So in the introduction of the non-native species, definitely, and the land, okay, first option. So what can we conclude from here? It's the only cleared abdomen and introduction of non-native species makes significant effect. Okay, so because only those plus 2 standard deviations, like we said, okay, from the 0, from the mean, and about the same number, okay, increases or decreases richness or biodiversity. Okay, and so just an explanation for the effect size when non-native species were introduced. Okay, non-native were introduced, what could decrease in the number of those could be outcompeted, could be killed, could be eaten, and some populations of native species become extinct. So they die out. Right, so that's everything for key terminology. See you later.